I've been meaning to do this video for, I guess, closing on 2 weeks now. Um, I'm doing this video because roughly around close to 2 weeks ago, I was poisoned. Bottom line. I had a toxic substance likely placed on my car door handle. But I've been saying that because the truth of the matter is that they actually broke into the vehicle, which has happened before, and placed this substance on some personal items in the trunk and likely in the cabin of the vehicle. They've done this before. Full disclosure, the first time this specific kind of poisoning happened was in 2017 when I took a IT contract, which was really largely a driver contract with Google, where I drove one of their Street View mapping vehicles through Nevada, bit of Utah, California, but largely mapping Washington State into Seattle, the greater Seattle area. And I did it largely because I had just come back to the state's mainland from Hawaii after trying to escape this place for a while, to be quite honest, and escape my targeting experiences, and just the fact, to be quite honest, that I don't care for America very much. But getting to the point, I've been a targeted individual since roughly around 99. Before then, my comrades as well in political organizations started by former members of the Black Panther Party and Black Liberation Army, called the New York City or the New York Black Panther Collective. One of the campaigns that we were involved in, and there were several, we were involved in gang truces between the Latin Kings, Nietas, and Bloods, which I think also obviously involved some of Zulu Nation's members. But I think the most significant thing we did was what was loosely termed the Brutality Prevention Project. Back then, several of our members were surveilled, openly surveilled, which meaning the NYPD, and also we largely believe it was the FBI, were basically letting us know that we were being surveilled as a means to obviously discourage us from patrolling the NYPD. And obviously there were police killings of young black men and women and not so young black folks at that time as well. That was during the time that Amadou Diallo was murdered, which we were involved in organizing around. Yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks. It's been a long 2 weeks of detoxing from what I have now figured out is either a pesticide that acts as a nerve agent, or it is a nerve agent. It is very difficult to detox this chemical. When I think I've gotten ahead of it, it tends to come back, which tells me that the chemical has largely, it's settled into my muscles and, you know, beyond. The symptoms, as I mentioned in one of my other video where I showed my hand, and this is my hand, the chemical burn, it's starting to heal. I think I reburned myself by going through some of my items that I had not cleaned or thrown out, and sometimes it's hard to throw things away because it costs money, which I'm sure our friends in the surveillance state understand as well, and hope for you to, and I say you because there are also other targeted individuals. And using that term, which, I guess a lot of people are not familiar with that term, and they're not familiar with gang stalking. This is a very real thing. And I say this specifically to those who are activists and organizers. Some of you whom I've attempted to get to investigate and educate yourself on the issue of what is actually going on now today in the 21st century, year 2021. This is not 1968, and we're still talking about COINTELPRO. Not that we shouldn't talk about COINTELPRO, but it's I gotta tell you, man, it's so tiring. It's so tiring, comrades, to try to, to go through this stuff. And I believe, the response sometimes when I say this to people, and it's a damn shame, man, that I get this from people. Well, why are you still alive? Why is any targeted individual, a person that's had their food tampered with or been the victim of electronic torture, which is when they use microwave weaponry to torture you at night in your home. It's 2020 and folks still think that these forms of technology are science fiction. And you folks have the internet, you have for all intents and purposes, you have the universe at your disposal, but most folks don't research and see exactly what the government is up to and what means they're using to surveil and hurt people, and who they're hurting, and obviously the response a lot of times from people as well, even from comrades, man, it's kind of like, well, who are you? You ain't special, nigga. And that's what you're saying, and that people don't realize that they're saying this stuff, man. But I try not to, feel sorry for myself, because I know there's so many people suffering. I know there's so many political prisoners. Like right now, Mumia has been tortured. Is insane, the levels and our political prisoners and the things that they've gone through in this country. And you have an organization like the UN and the World Court, and America is allowed to get away with the things that it gets away with, and people, we do what we do, the organizers do what we do, but have been largely, these campaigns obviously have gotten some of our political prisoners out recently, but we've largely been powerless to stop their torture and taking their lives away, our revolutionary family. Whew. Anyway, getting back to it, to give a little bit more background. Been dealing with this for 20 years, man. Going back to 97, 96, when the Black Panther Collective was doing the patrols of the NYPD, we were me and one other comrade were approached by two men who were clearly had received some military training. These are two white men, tall white men. One guy, I joked, looked like Matthew McConaughey, which was, you know, at that time in New York City, you don't see guys who look like Matthew McConaughey too much. You see him everywhere now. You know, New York City has been racially cleansed, largely. Or being racially cleansed. But this gentleman, not gentleman, this pig, this federal pig, walked with us and attempted to get information from us, and until we threatened to beat his ass and stomp him out, which is what he wanted, and he kind of made that clear as well, that he wanted us to beat him up, and then we knew who we were dealing with, and you know, but things continued and progressed, and I'll tell you in short, the electronic torture thing has been horrible. The technology at the disposal of the not just the intelligence community, but this technology is, I think, given based on the research that a lot of people have done around gang stalking and targeting. This technology is also given to private security companies, and those companies will often, they have their own contractors to follow you and also engage in street theater, and street theater is where, you know, they basically try to provoke you into a altercation or assaulting one of their people so that you can be arrested. You know, this is where we are now. This is the Stasi's wet dream, you know. And a lot of this stuff, what I wanted to get to is a lot of the stuff has made me reconsider a lot of my politics and the politics of our movement. And how we go about things, and how radical political organizations go about things. And I'm not talking about the liberal folks, man, because and progressive, because I'd be quite honest, I'd kind of dismiss your folks outright, because you've really revealed yourself in the past few years, extremely compromised, and the radical left seems to be more interested, well, it's not is more interested in appearing revolutionary, progressive, having the best analysis, but not interested in saving black people's lives. And that's the fact of the matter, which makes me even believe that our movement is thoroughly infiltrated by, you name it, not just, you know, not just the state, you know, but all these little fraternal brotherhoods and nonsense that have always been involved in our movement, you know, and likely involved in the assassination of our leaders, in the setting up of revolutionary organizations, you know. And I've been pretty vocal here in DC, you know, especially in social media and stuff, and actually kind of targeting the black bourgeoisie here, you know. The Boulay mayor, who is disgusting, who is a disgusting individual, Mario Bowser. You know, these new black women agents that they've appointed mayor, they are horrible, horrible human beings, and betraying us right in our faces. And folks just kind of like, a lot of folks just kind of staring at the ceiling because they're black women. You know, we've become extremely unprincipled and extremely liberal, man. And it's kind of, it's sickening, you know. And I know there's no place for me in a large part of the movement, you know. I think the organization that brought me into the movement, man, was kind of on the fringes of the movement. We were extremely principled, and folks didn't like us, you know. So I, you know, be quite honest, I don't expect people to like me, you know, and they don't, you know. It's not about a popularity contest. I serve African people. I don't, I've never been interested in no goddamn cliques, you know, in dinner parties. Not really interested, you know. I don't think, you know, comrades, you don't think you want me at your dinner parties, you know. You want to know where I've been. I'm not really, you know, you don't want me at the dinner party. Not with what I've been through, you know. At this point, I've crossed the threshold, you know. I'm not there anymore. But the purpose of this video was, you know, I kind of have a record kind of what's going on, man. You know, you're supposed to do this kind of thing, I guess, in this day and age, you know, despite all of the, you know, skepticism and disrespect and all kinds of other foolishness, you know, and silence, largely silence on the part of revolutionaries, radical folks, leftists. Love y'all, man. Love y'all, my people. But y'all are as indoctrinated as the masses are now at this point. Most of y'all, not all, but most of y'all, man. You know, and you need to do that Black Panther Party system check. You know, who's doing your thinking for you and your feeling and your, you know, where's your spirit at, man? You know, check in with the ancestors if you got to. What, you know, that's another thing. You know, I've moved into an area where I think, you know, I'm not necessarily interested in organizing with leftists because of a lot of the stuff that I've been through. I feel like, you know, the point now should be to organize religious folks. Religious folks have kept their morality. You know, obviously not the most politically educated folks in the world, but, you know, I think that's where the work is, you know, amongst the religious and the spiritual. And I think that if they can be reached, then maybe, you know, maybe we can save our people. Maybe we can, you know, save our planet, you know. But a lot of y'all who are working with organizations and you're doing your work and you're organizing and you're so proud of all the work you're doing, you know, a lot of y'all supposed to be, I mean, like visible leaders at this point, man. A lot of us supposed to be visible leaders at this point, and not necessarily with a lot of the organizations that you're working with, you know. Some of y'all, you know, the organization leadership, sometimes, man, a lot of the elders, like in religion as well, man, they keep their boot on you when you're younger, you know. And I think the older generation, some of the older generation is guilty of that, of silencing the younger generations. And younger generations, we're now, you know, a lot of us in our 40s, you know, 30s, whatever, you know, but still acting like we the youth that came into the movement, that just came into the movement, rather, you know. You know, I apologize, I've rambled a bit. But this video was largely just as a record, you know, of my targeting and getting poisoned recently. And a lot of this has been because I've been very vocal about the coronavirus thing, the COVID-19, this lockdown nonsense, man. I can't tell you how angry I am about this. And about, you know, the fact that liberals and quote unquote leftists and even quote unquote revolutionaries down with the lockdown, they got y'all, you know, they got y'all. Y'all supposed to be the last people, not liberals, not you motherfuckers. But you radicals are supposed to be the last folks who fall for the okie doke. You know, and you're just as scared and terrified as the people without any investigation. Without any investigation. Because if you were to investigate and you see who's responsible for this and who's pushing all this, I mean, I don't know how you people can trust the people who are behind this and not see exactly who they are. It's really easy. They don't make it that hard because they're, you know, like a sociopath is really easy to pick out most times. You know, and if you can't pick out a sociopath, turn off the television, turn off all that garbage, and, you know, reassess. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. Not this go around. But this is real. They're clearly very concerned about the message and killing as many of you with this vaccine that will supposedly react when you're exposed to the live virus at some point, or other coronaviruses. Some say even as far as a year from now, you know, but believe me, family, it is not to be trusted. The information, it's not even that hard to do research anymore. It really isn't. And I can't believe that if a lot of you have come across the information that I've come across, why you would still willingly put an experimental gene therapy vaccine into your body. You know, a lot of you fallen for this thing that it's an honorable thing to do. The honorable thing to do is honor your body. Honor your health. Learn to heal yourself. And this is not airborne Ebola or airborne AIDS, where you're walking down the street and people are keeling over on the ground. That never happened. But yet you allowed them to terrorize you. Surprising to me. Surprising to me. I guess not so much the masses, but a lot of the rest of the folks, you know. And we're going to lose folks. And I say this shit. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is because I know I may not make it through this. And I don't plan on taking no goddamn vaccine. If they're going to get me, they're going to fucking get me. They're going to have to run up on me and get me, or do some of this poisoning coward shit they've been doing to me so long. And the directed energy weaponry. But they're not going to get me to willingly put some shit in my body, family. They're all fucked up on that one. But I love you with revolutionary love. Struggle continues.